Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Donald Trump, your president, is desperately looking for an off-ramp to exit the Iran war. Yeah, fam, he pressed his vice president, JD Vance, for an update on negotiating a deal with Iran for a ceasefire. And he said something rather interesting. I'll let him speak for himself. You ready for this, fam? You're really not, but I'm gonna let you check it out.
On the deal, right? How's that moving? Is it okay? The big deal? You see it happening? So if it doesn't happen, I'm blaming JD Vance. If it does happen, I'm taking full credit. No, I think it'll be. I think it has to happen. I think they're desperate.
Not as desperate as you are, because you're the one with all the big talk. Iran is just simply defending itself. Now, you know, the chatter in the background. Did you hear the peanut gallery? You damn fools, we're at war. We're fighting an unjust war. And you're sitting on your fat asses and you're sitting around eating and living it up. They were at a Easter lunch. And I don't know why he had to talk at an Easter lunch, but yeah, but he loves to talk and be the center of attention. It probably wasn't even in the script, but he decided he wanted to say something. So, I got to give him the floor. But anyway, fam, this is on par with who Donald Trump is. Like, if everything goes well, he takes the credit. If it goes bad, he blames someone else. That's been his entire existence. But especially for us who didn't know him prior to coming into office, like that's all he's ever done. He has never once taken accountability. And it's a trip how if you watch him, just watch how he behaves. He has no filter these days. He will say anything. He don't care if he admit to being guilty. He's admitted to being guilty about everything except those Epstein files. What's in those Epstein files? Like, remember now, he said, I'll grab him by the PU, you know what I'm saying? Without their permission. Remember, he said that. I ain't say that. He said it. He'll grab him by the PU. So he brags about essaying women, and you're surprised that he's in the Epstein files, or you're calling it a witch hunt because he's in the Epstein files? Come on, man. You got to pick a side. You can't be on the side of women and little girls and on the same side of a person who stalks and preys on them. You got to pick a side. You can't have both. If I was any of these little girls who had fathers who backed Donald Trump, I would seriously question what type of man that my father was or is. If I was one of these women, I'd be questioning what type of dude he is. But you know what? These women, some of these women out here, at least half of them voted for Trump. About half of them voted for Trump, even after they heard about all of the allegations. This was well before the Epstein files. So by the time Epstein files get here, they ain't tripping. They're not tripping on voting for a dude who's caught up in that type of stuff. They're okay with it because the main thing that they want is whatever that thing is, whether it's money, whether it's false security, a false sense of security, or whether it's just to maintain the status quo. Let's keep this white supremacist thing going as long as we can keep it going. And, if I just happen to get essayed and nobody pays for it, then so be it. Yeah. So Trump is like totally admitting, he went on record admitting that this is what he does. He takes the credit when things go well. You know, he likes to praise himself first now. And then he throws others under the bus when things go bad. You saw what happened to Christy Nome and Pam Bondi. Boy, man, they threw Pam Bundy's framed photograph that was on the wall next to Trump and JD Vance in the trash can. I mean, just hours after they fired her, after Trump fired her, they threw her framed picture that was on the wall in the trash. You would think maybe they'll take it off and say, hey, you want this? You know, like try to give it to her first, you know. Even if they don't give it to her, give it to somebody. Hey, you want this picture? You want this picture? I'm sure somebody would have said, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, even if they're just taking it for target practice, you know, you want to take the picture, right? But, you know, you want to take the picture, you know, keep it, just throw darts at it, you know, just, you know, nobody claimed it. They just threw it in the trash. It lets you know how they get down. Like, that's what Cube say. Here's what they think of you. Here's what they think of you. This is why you have to be very careful with dancing with the devil, fam. You got to be very careful of dancing with the devil, because the devil is loyal to devilish ways and nothing else. Nothing else. You heard Trump say in another video that he likes people based on how they treat him. If they treat him good, he likes them. If they say nice things about him, he likes them, even if they're a bad person. Even if they're a bad person. They can be the biggest killer, dope dealer, SL. It don't matter. Could be the biggest war criminal. If you say nice things about him and you praise him, he likes you. That is a demented soul. Why would people want to take pictures with a guy like that? Why would people want to be in the same room with him? Why do they clamor to go to the White House? Is the White House that important? I don't care about the White House like that, fam. I don't care about taking pictures with people that much, you know? If it's somebody that I like, that I admire, that I think is a good person or whatever, yeah, you know, I could say, hey, let's do a picture, right? But somebody like Trump, man, I don't care nothing about taking a picture with Trump. I wouldn't. If I had a picture with him from back in the day, before we found out what type of dude he really was, I would have destroyed it by now. Yeah, fam. I don't want nothing. I'm distancing myself. I wouldn't want anything to do with Buddy. I wouldn't want anything to do with him at all. Everybody's laughing, and some people say, well, he's just a joke. It's just jokes. Well, you know, everything ain't funny. Yeah, everything ain't funny, man. We at war. We got food prices sky high. We got gas prices sky high. You got a nation divided. You got people who are scared to go outside. They can't even let their kids play in the backyard, let alone the front yard. The schools are in chaos. Hundreds of thousands of people are unemployed. People afraid to take mass transportation. Hell, people afraid to even get in their cars and drive down the street. Road rage is insane. Everybody mad. Everybody want to kill something. Everybody want to hurt something. The whole country is in chaos. And they're sitting on their ass at a Easter lunch, laughing about a guy who is the leader of the country, telling jokes about escaping accountability. Come on, fam. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. So we know he's always going to blame somebody. The thing is, though, Biden is not available, so Vance is next in line. He's the next best choice, right? Hey, man, color me shocked. dude is blaming headset next. I'm telling you, like headset, Vance, if he could get rid of Vance, he would get rid of Vance, but headset is next to go. Oh, you better believe his days are numbered. He's not going to be around much longer. All of them are going to have to get up out of there. Did you know that Trump had a 77% turnover, staff turnover his first term? 77%. These are the biggest jobs in the land, most prestigious jobs in the land, and people didn't either people resigned because they just couldn't do it anymore, or he fired them because they wouldn't do what he wanted them to do. Yeah, that's a cold game. Now, I got a video coming up on Vance that I want to shed some light on some of the things that he actually can do. Vance actually got more power than we think he does. Most people think he does. He has more power. The question is, will he exercise that power? Now, you know that before Vance became vice president, he was talking down on Trump. Same thing with Marco Rubio. They was clowning Trump. Tulsi Gabbard also. They were all enemies of Trump, talking real bad about him. I think, oh man, I don't know who got him the worst, Marco Rubio or JD Vance, but they was talking about Trump like a dog. But it goes to show you that there are opportunists. They saw an opportunity and they jumped on it. So they went from Trump being the worst person in the world to Trump being the best person in the world as soon as they got the job, just like that. And everybody know Trump is the worst president, like in modern day history. It's hard for me to say that he's the absolute worst when I look at the slave owners, when I look at the history of slave owners. I mean, people who own human beings, they got to be the worst, absolute worst. But Trump is right there with them, neck and neck. Yeah. And that goes without saying. So much about laughing about war. No more talk.